Hi, this video is part 2 of a two-part series that was filmed by Hugh of the Perth South Channel at the Great Electric Train Show in Milton Keynes in October 2019. If you're interested in model railway exhibition layouts, their description, construction and how they are run, start now and become a subscriber. Hit the bell icon to be notified when a new video is published. This N-gauge layout is Little Aller Junction, exhibited by Chris Morris. Aller Junction, 1 mile west of Newton Abbot Station in South Devon, is the inspiration for this diesel hydraulic era N-gauge layout. The pointwork on the layout represents the junction layout from 1925 to 1987, with the route to Torbay separating from the lines to Plymouth and Cornwall. It is analogue controlled and occupies just 7 feet by 3 feet, using a track plan which sees one set of main lines climb over the top of the other to create a busy scene. Carriages are formed into appropriate rakes with a maximum of 8 coaches per train. All the trains running on the layout could be seen passing through Aller Junction. This N-gauge layout is Middle Elmton, exhibited by Peter Brackenbury. Middle Elmton is a fictional small town in North Nottinghamshire between Elmton and Creswell Junction and Langwith. The layout is set around 1962, allowing a variety of ex-LMS, ex-LNER and BR standard design steam locomotives, along with some of the earlier diesel classes to be run. The track work is Pico Code 80. The buildings on the layout are a mixture of modified kits and scratch built. This 14.2mm gauge layout is Addison Park, exhibited by Philip Hutchins. Addison Park is an imaginary location situated in West London, very close to Kensington. The single line from Ealing to Addison Park was built in 1872. The stations and goods yard were initially on the other side of the High Street. In 1892 the line was taken over by the Metropolitan Railway, and in 1933 eventually incorporated into the London Passenger Transport Board. It was included in the 1936 modernisation plans, becoming the termini of both the new electric district line from Hounslow and the Piccadilly line from South Harrow. The station was incorporated into a larger collaborative project between LPTB. The site developers and designers worked to the patterns of Charles Holden and based the station on a similar project at Park Royal. The original line was electrified and incorporated into the new terminus. The model depicts London transport in the 1950s, when trolleybuses were still operating along the High Street. However, in the bus garage on the opposite end of the layout, London's Bus of the Future, RMI, has just arrived and is being checked over by drivers. The trains are a variety of surface and tube stock from this period. The model is built to 3mm scale, 14.2mm gauge, and although most of it has been scratch built, many products from the 3mm Society's vast range have been used, including all the track. This 00 gauge layout is Smallwood, exhibited by the Redditch Model Railway Club. It is 1976, a year best remembered for the long hot summer. On television we have the delights of When the Boat Comes In, and Noel Edmonds' multicoloured swap shop has just started on Saturday mornings. Steam traction ended nearly 10 years ago and the railways have yet to change significantly. This is because of the continued underinvestment and the industrial unrest that went with the 1970s. This creates an exciting period in railway history to model. We are in the railway backwater of Smallwood, a town somewhere in England, with a terminus station that has seen better days. The provision of 4 platforms is from an era of far more affluent times than the current general rundown appearance. The station still boasts a parcel depot as well as a small stabling point for DMUs. At a lower level below the station are the remains of another station that now serve as exchange sidings for several local industries. The layout is operated using DCC. Locomotives and rolling stock are suitably weathered and detailed for the era portrayed. The layout has been designed to create an interesting variety of prototypical train movements in a relatively small area. This EM gauge layout is Wainthrop Bridge, exhibited by Simon Howard. Simon Howard's atmospheric pre-grouping era EM gauge layout, Wainthrop Bridge, represents the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway in the 1920s. All the stock is kit built to suit the era, with a storage yard at one end feeding the terminus station with a selection of trains. Control is analogue throughout. It features a terminus station and goods yard with a backdrop of stone-built mills and warehouses. This 00 gauge layout is B Road, exhibited by Gerard Pearson. B Road represents a fictitious West Midlands, London Midland region terminus set in the early 1960s. Occasionally a sequence set either 5 years earlier or later is presented. The layout is operated to a timetable that involves passenger and goods traffic in day and night time. Trains come in and out, and shunting of the coal yard and goods depot takes place in between. The track is Pico Code 100 and the points are operated by wire rods and point motors. The signals, all colour light, are operational. Conventional analog transformers and controllers provide movement. The stock is a mixture of modified ready-to-run, plus kits and some carriages with comet sides. In most cases, the buildings and the bridge top are scratch-built with plasticart. This 00 gauge layout is Bradwell Point, exhibited by Marcus Lambert. Bradwell Point represents a fictitious nuclear flask unloading facility in the north of England, which serves a local nuclear power station. Set in the 1990s, you can expect to see a variety of classic British diesels, including the classes 20, 31 and 37, busily earning their keep as they take nuclear waste away for processing. The layout is fully DCC controlled, providing the perfect opportunity for you to immerse yourself in lots of noise from the halcyon days of British Rail with digital sound operation. This O-gauge layout is Polcombe Depot, exhibited by Mark Pollard. The buildings depict a locomotive depot in the late 1950s through to the end of steam. The small storage yard is built using kitchen drawer runners. The layout is an imaginary location somewhere on the south coast towards the end of the Somerset and Dorset line. So there is a mix of southern, western and Midland region locomotives. Many different classes of locomotive can be seen visiting the depot for coal, water and a quick service before being turned for their next duty. Most of the steam locomotives are kit built from brass and nickel silver. It is DCC controlled using a lens system, and some engines have been sound fitted to add greater atmosphere to the scene. This EM scale layout is Minories, exhibited by Tom Cunnington. The layout is based on one of the classic layout plans by the late Cyril Freezer, Minories. The concept was to show that a busy terminus station could be modelled in a limited space using the proprietary track available at the time. Our model is an imagined extension of the Moorgate widened lines further into the City of London to a 3-platform terminus. The period model is the late 1960s to early 1970s. before the electrification of the suburban lines from King's Cross and St Pancras. This small rundown passenger terminus in the heart of the city has a highly peaked diesel train service from and to a range of destinations on the Great Northern and Midland main lines. The Great Northern service in the late Green and early Blue period included a wide range of locomotives on suburban services, including classes 15, 20, 21, 23, 24, 26 and mainly 31, hauling 5-coach trains of Mark I suburban coaches. These were followed by predominantly Class 105 multiple units. The Midland service would have seen Class 127 or 116 bedpan DMUs handling its traffic. The layout is built in EM gauge. Our main compromise has been to lengthen the points to give more generous curves. It makes the scenic area about a foot longer and 2 inches wider than Cyril envisaged. The rolling stock is generally ready to run, although most of it has been heavily modified and detailed. Craven's DMUs are from DC kits. Midland DMUs are cut and shut Lima, and some of the more unusual coaches are Comet or Bill Bedford kits. To view more exhibition layouts, click on the playlist. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.